Hello, it's me again. It's day 31 of my data job hunt, and today I'm going to be going over my daily schedules. I'm really excited to dig into this because usually I'm just following whatever schedule is required of me at the time. So, for example, if I'm working my summer internship, I'll be waking up at, I don't know, 7:30, doing my morning stuff, then going to work, working whenever I'm scheduled to work, and then going to sleep whenever. Or if I don't know, let's say it's winter break or something, I'll usually be following my default schedule. But I want to, I want to have a schedule that makes the day the most enjoyable that it can be, and also, yeah, pretty much just the most enjoyable, as well as getting some work done and getting good sleep and all that stuff. So, my default schedule, this is what I've been following for pretty much the first 30 days. So, yeah, I'll just get into that and then I'll tell you what schedule I want to test next and then what I plan to do with that, what I want to do moving forward. So, first schedule is, I call it Wake Flex Eat Fix. What this means is I basically wake up whenever, which has typically been 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm guessing my sleep schedule kind of got that delayed because like if I'm going out with friends and stuff like that, I'll be waking up later. And I just decided, why change it? And I also typically get 10 hours of sleep. That's what I feel my body needs, or what my body does sleep if I don't set an alarm clock or anything like that. So part two of this is I eat at 12:45. I use this to kind of anchor my day so it doesn't like get too out of whack or something. I think ideally if I wanted a higher work rate, I think I should have fixed my eating, my first meal of the day relative to when I wake up. Because I feel once I eat my first meal of the day, my day starts, branching lots of different possibilities. It's a lot harder to focus. 3, just work whenever. Those are the 3 components I'm really going over now. There are some other parameters I would like to weave into this when I'm trying to decide what schedule I want to do. But for now, I don't want it to get too complicated. The 2 I have in mind right now is exercise and then when I fall asleep. There'd also be socializing and stuff in there, but leave that out for now. So the pros of this schedule is 1, it is easy to follow, hence why it's my default schedule. Number 2, lots of sleep, hence is why it's my default schedule. I like to get full amount of sleep so I can the day is enjoyable. Because if I don't get really much sleep and I wake up, I just feel like garbage. That's not fun. So, cons, waking up that late, it does feel bad. If I'm waking up at 11 p.m., I feel like I missed so much of my day, missed a lot of daylight. I don't feel in sync with other people. Yeah. And then the second part is low work rate. I averaged 65 minutes per day of work directed towards my data job hunt over 11 days. Now you may be thinking, 11 days. You've been doing this for 31 days. Where did the other 20 days go? A lot of those days I was on vacation, and then other days I call them short days, which is where I've got something blocked out most of the day, whether it be some family event or it's a day after traveling, I'm jet lagged and feel like garbage, stuff like that. So not a huge sample size, but I can tell you from all the other days before doing the data job hunt, it varies a lot. It can be pretty low, seems pretty accurate. So the schedule I want to test next. This I'll be testing for 2 or 3 weeks. I have not decided yet. As of right now, I'll decide 2 weeks, starting from the 26th of June to July 11th or 10th. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know what days those correspond to, but yeah, whatever. So I call it Wake Fix, Work More, which basically means I'm gonna be waking up at 8:30 a.m. It may seem like, oh, it will be difficult to adjust to the time, adjust your time schedule, but I just traveled to Norway. Didn't get super jet lagged because I didn't change my sleep schedule too much. However, it did shift earlier, so I'm already on that schedule right now, 8:30 a.m. So don't have to worry about that. Number two, I'll be eating between 12:30 and 1 p.m. This gives me 4 hours between I wake up and when I eat, which is when I plan to work. I plan to work after my morning routine, which is typically an hour to an hour and a half, and then I won't work after my morning routine until before I eat. Some pros of the schedule: higher work rate, I assume. So to test that, I will be taking note of how many minutes I work, as well as how efficient my work is per session. Number two, I'll be tracking my mood, kind of a subjective measurement, because let's say I got a much higher work rate, but my mood is much worse, I won't be following that schedule. Number three, some cons. It's much harder to follow. Maybe not much harder, but it is harder to follow. For example, let's say I've got, like today, I had physical therapy at 10:30 a.m. Kind of puts a wrench in the work. So now I'm started working at 12 until 4. It's about 3:30 right now. And my work efficiency was terrible because I just ate beforehand. I was nearly falling asleep. Really struggling to work there. Could adjust how much I eat, but we're not thinking about that now. And then con number two, I assume my sleep will be worse because I'm not getting as much. However, I know what I've heard from some scientists and stuff like that having a more fixed sleep schedule also makes your sleep better. So it could be better, but I assume I'm not fixing my the time I fall asleep. So I'm assuming I'll be getting less than the 10 hours I typically want to get. So just to write it down there, I will be tracking these 3 things: tracking how many minutes I work, how efficient my work is with a subjective measurement. 2, measure my mood subjectively. Harder to follow. I could take a note of how many times I break the schedule, but I don't think I really need to make a specific column for that and be like, how hard was this to follow today, blah, blah, blah. I think it doesn't matter too much. I care more about my mood as opposed to, if it's hard, I think it'll factor in your mood. If it's really hard, then I just won't like it. So I think that kind of goes in there. And then here, I'll be using a Fitbit to track my sleep quality. However, it'll be hard to judge if my sleep is better than before because I don't have a before log of using my Fitbit because I wasn't using it. But better to start tracking late than never because I don't plan this to be the only schedule I test. I'll be kind of wanting to change around this parameter, see what kind of time I want to wake up. I really want to try the morning sunrise schedule where I wake up at sunrise and start my day as soon as the sun's up. However, that's really early, so I don't know how I'll get to that. So now I'm going to try that now. I also want to change how much time is between when I wake up and when I eat, mainly because I want to figure out how long I want to work in the morning before I eat. Because 2 hours does not feel like a substantial amount of work. 3 hours does to me, and however, I don't know if I can work 3 hours in a row, well focused, and then also maybe I could do 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 5 hours, something like that. But I also want to, I don't know if having a really big intermittent fasting window or fasting window will affect my work rate and stuff like that. And then also in the future, I want to incorporate exercise and whatnot. Right now, I guess you could add onto each of these exercise flex. I just kind of exercise whenever, try to do at least something every day. and then fall asleep flex. I don't know if falling asleep at a certain time will help you or not. To me, that sounds kind of feels like being locked in a cage too much, but I'm sure, well, we could try and see. But for now, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, so I think that's enough of me explaining that. In the future, when I'm trying to display this, I think I'm gonna use a slideshow instead, just because I have written all this down. I think it looks very neat. I like how it is, but I think it's much harder to follow because all of it's written on there. I think some animations of like, if I just have this on the screen and then I have this show up, then I have this show up, then I can also make a more structured profile of each of the schedules because it's just kind of laid out here. Can have like, I don't know, 4 numbers or something to like, give it its profile instead of these 4 lines, which I feel like are hard to, I feel like it makes it harder to grasp. So, yep, in 2 weeks, I'll check in, I'll give you the scores of these, and I'll compare them to the rough score of these, hopefully in a more easy to grasp manner. But in my opinion, it's much better to start with something than nothing. Like, doing something beats, or what was the quote? Finished beats perfect. So finishing something and then just iterating it, making it better. So yeah, I think that's it. I will see you later.